Welcome to Tampa Home Talk with your host, native Tampa real estate girl, Katrina Madewell, a full-time, passionate, out-of-the-box thinker, love for home ownership kind of realtor with over 21 years of combined mortgage and real estate experience. Tune in every week at this time for expert advice on everything you need to know about home ownership, finance, maintaining great credit, building wealth, and making your everyday life better, and how you can be financially successful today and tomorrow. Remember, love where you live or let Katrina fix it. Now, here's your host of Tampa Home Talk, Katrina Madewell.
Good afternoon. This is Katrina Madewell, Charles Ruttenberg Realty on Real Estate Radio Network here on Tan Talk. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday afternoon. I have a great guest in studio today. I had the privilege of actually touring their warehouse, and it was so exciting to connect with these guys because I think you guys serve a purpose in the market that a lot of people just don't know what to do with some of the stuff. And so they're with Urban E-Recycling. We're going to go into some of the specifics on the things that they recycle, but it's a lot of household electronics and that type of stuff. The mission of our show is to help our clients keep and maintain good credit, live within their means, and build wealth. And we are absolutely passionate about it. And we also have a lot of other great guests like you guys in studio that fill a purpose and will give something to our clients because we do this show for all of our past clients. And of course, we get some new ones along the way, but we really do it for them. So this is Tampa Home Talk. You can catch us on the web at tampahometalk.com, on Facebook and Twitter. Feel free to tweet your questions out to us and we'll do our best to answer them or get back to you offline or on another show. You can reach us on our off-air number at 813-936-2302. Again, 813-936-2302. We'll be happy to connect you with any one of our guests and get some information. So welcome. We have Greg Rabinowitz. Did I get it right? Rabinowitz. I knew I was going to mess it up. And Delina or Delfunk.
Yes.
Much easier to pronounce your name, of course. So Urban E-Recycling, such a neat place you guys have there. Really enjoyed the tour. Really enjoyed just kind of understanding what you do. And it's an awesome place because I think there's a lot of people that have household electronics and different things like that. I mean, I saw some crazy stuff in your not your studio, your warehouse today, like ATM cash machines and just different things with metal, right? And that type of stuff in it?
Metal with a board.
Basically, okay.
How we differ from the traditional scrap yards, the mainstream metal yards, is we take in the things that have circuitry in it, the circuit board.
So let's back up and talk about who you are and how you guys got started. And then I would love to talk about what type of stuff you recycle. And then we'll even get into some stuff that you don't recycle.
About 25 years ago, got out of school, was going to go to grad school in Atlanta. Started there and needed part-time work and wound up taking a job at a scrapyard that I knew nothing about the industry there, and it just got in my blood. So I spent the next 22 and a half years or so in and out of the scrap business and was approached to start up a recycling division for a telecommunications reseller. And I just saw that this was the wave of recycling.
Now, is that a requirement, like the federal government, for those places to recycle that stuff?
No, it's part of their bottom line.
Gotcha.
It's stuff that they don't sell. What do you do with it?
Okay.
It's just it's kind of like a sister-in-law of the metal recycling industry, but it's everything made in the last 30 years or so is electronic to some extent, and it's there's a problem about what to do with it, but it's also a business. So we just decided to go forward with that and see how we could do it.
So I know there's a lot of people that are like, I have this old computer now. What do I do with this? I have this old laptop. I mean, I saw power supplies in your warehouse. I saw so much stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We take it in, we dismantle it to its very core.
Yeah.
You saw the plastic goes in one bin. Every component goes in another bin. Most importantly, though, and the biggest question and concern we have is people are usually comfortable that it's not going to be landfilled. It does us no good to landfill it. We're looking to scrap out the components. But what do they do about data?
Yeah, that was one of the things I really enjoyed. I think it was one of the first things that you showed me in the tour today, but I really enjoyed seeing your computers hooked up to these other machines that you had taken in, literally erasing the data. And it said right on there the progress and that type of stuff.
Sure. What happens is as soon as stuff comes in, Number one, it's triaged into what it is. If it's a computer that has hard drives, the hard drives are immediately taken out. It's brought over to our testing and wiping area that's been set up. We have 2 state-of-the-art wiping machines. We have a third one on the way. And that hard drive gets immediately tested for, it records the serial number of that, and then the wiping process starts. It goes...
Now, what's the purpose of recording the serial number?
That way for records. A lot of people, that way we can send you a certificate of data destruction.
Okay.
And on that certificate, it shows this was your hard drive.
Gotcha.
Other than just, your hard drive was wiped in a big pile. This is it. You can
kind of like the death certificate for your hard drive, right?
Exactly. It's the insurance policy.
Gotcha.
It's like you can now rest assured everything you put on there, whether it's very important or not,
right.
that is gone.
Well, in this day and age, we store so much stuff electronically. I mean, I know we're almost paperless outside of my little notebook that I carry around with me because I still am a handwriter notes, but we still, I end up scanning it or it gets filed electronically in some format or another.
We also talked about cable.
Yes.
We do a lot of cable boxes, a lot of satellite boxes each month, and the DVR ones, the ones that record, people don't realize those have hard drives in them. Most have 80 to 120 gig hard drives. That has your information on it.
Yeah, it's funny because when you mentioned that at first, Greg, I was thinking, okay, so somebody DVR'd some shows. What's the big deal? Because, it's a show and, anybody could watch it online. But what you didn't think about, and I didn't think about.
It's got your address. It's got your account number. If you've ordered a on-demand movie, there's a possibility at some point, Verizon, Bright House, they used to have your credit card information on it. It could have been blanked out, but it can be run through systems. People can hack into that.
Probably Netflix, any of that stuff, I would imagine at some point could be on
absolutely. There. It's just we recommend, and you have to return those boxes. It's not, you have to give it back when you cancel your service because you don't own them outright. We recommend you tell your cable company or satellite company. Satellite boxes you keep, I think. But the cable company and Verizon, tell them you want the hard drive destroyed. It's not a bad idea to take a rare earth magnet of some sort and run it over it.
Yeah, just to destroy your data.
Destroy it. At least you're degaussing it. That data is scrambled just for peace of mind.
I thought it's interesting, and I really like to see how everything was broken down and recycled because you mentioned, and this is something we talk about a lot, as Americans, we're a very wasteful nation.
We are. We
waste more than any other place, and it's unfortunate, but a lot of times it is cheaper for people to go out and buy something new than it is to fix something that they have.
It's the problem if it's cheaper to make virgin glass than it is to use recycled. It's cheaper to make virgin paper to some extent than to recycle it. Our business is based on people recycling, overusing and buying. But in terms of really having a green way of life is recycling. We use the word recycling in the wrong context. Putting something into a recycling bin and putting it outside technically isn't recycling. Less use is better. Don't, just don't use a cup. Use a bottled water.
Reuse. Reduce, reuse, right?
Exactly. And,
I think I'm missing one of those R's, but recycle,
recycle.
reduce, reuse.
Then recycle.
Thank you, Del. Leave it to me to forget the basic one. So what do you think about this? What's your part of the whole organization? You do a lot of the back end stuff, right?
I do the marketing, the website, and I write articles and network a lot. I'm in the South Tampa Chamber of Commerce and just get our word out there. A lot of people have no idea that we do this and there is no cost.
Right. Yeah. So it's absolutely free to you. If you're listening to Tampa Home Talk right now, make sure that you reach out to us across the web on Facebook, on Twitter. We're going to post Del and Greg's information on how you can get a hold of them so that they can come pick up your used household electronics and things that you don't want anymore. They can likely recycle them for you, dispose of the components they don't need properly, and then you recycle the rest for your profits, right? Which is how you allow people to give it to you for free and not have to pay to recycle it.
Exactly.
That's how we make our money.
It's and it's we used to get interesting questions like, why the people were suspicious why there is no charge.
Right.
And fact of the matter is, we've made a business out of refining, sending it to refiners, sending the metal to the metal refiners, the plastic to the plastic grinders, stuff like that. And that's what pays the bills and lets the company grow. So there's no need we need the supply material. There's no need to put a charge back on you.
It was interesting. You were talking about a plastic shredder or something else? I was like, that's like a paper shredder for machines?
Yeah.
What was it again? Was it
the
for
hard
plastic?
drive? The hard drive.
The hard drive shredder. I was trying to remember. I was overwhelmed with all these electronic stuff in there.
But there are plastic shredders that grind the plastic. It's all about shipping. Unfortunately, there's very little in this area at that level. Mm-hmm. There are shredders, large shredders, but it's with transportation costs going up. You need to get as much weight onto a truck as possible. So the more you minimize it, that's why we break things down.
Gotcha.
So completely.
It was interesting because a lot of those little components, like you wouldn't even think about it, the plugs that go into the back of the computer, into your monitor, all those little pins have metal. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to think you guys just, like you said, break it down to its most simplest form and recycle it.
It was a learning process. And we've had some good mentors.
Right. How did you actually stumble upon that electronic recycling? Like, I know you said you started out in scrapyard stuff, but how did you actually land where you are?
Well, when the telecom resellers, which means they buy high-end equipment, massive phone systems, and they would resell it. They needed to open their recycling division.
Right.
I applied for the job, took it, didn't know and I learned it there. And
then you had to figure out what to do with the stuff that you got, right?
Exactly, but I had a good connection from the old days. I knew how to network out and ask the right questions, and from there we've built a network of mentors and colleagues.
People that can help you get it done. I thought it's interesting you have some great relationships with other people that take some of the stuff that you also don't recycle.
Sure.
So, and they dispose of it properly or recycle it or what have you.
Absolutely. Urban E Recycling is a DBA of the main company set up as Urban E Consulting.
Gotcha.
And the consulting part is we pride ourselves on that. If we don't take something, if it's outside the electronic range, even if it's a CRT monitor TV, which we don't take, we will find you the outlet. We have those connections. We will tell you where to take it, how to take it, and what to do with it.
You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. This is your host, Katrina Madewell. We'll be back in just a minute. We've got to take a quick break, but we're going to get into more of what Urban E-Recycling does and go into the details. Back in a minute.
Hi, I'm Ike Antonio Thomas, Director of Salitas House, where we offer homeownership workshops, pre-purchase counseling, foreclosure intervention counseling for homeowners at risk of losing their home, financial coaching for adults and teens. Come sign up for our program where if you save $1,000, we'll give you $1,000. Call us 813-425-4847. Again, 813-425-4847. You can like us on Facebook or you can find us on the web, salitashouse.com.
Ask me about an inside secret to save several hundreds of dollars on your annual homeowner's insurance premium. Text the word WIND, W-I-N-D, to 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775.
I'm John Rakowski, the broker with Charles Ruttenberg Realty. If you are a real estate agent and want to keep more of your hard-earned commission, call me today at 727-538-9200 extension 2. This call will change your real estate career.
My name's Carol Ost, representing the Realtors Care Foundation, DTAR. I'm the CEO there, and the foundation is existing to help with down payment assistance, and we gift up to $5,000 for the first-time home buyers to purchase a home in Hillsborough County. So please visit us at the Realtors Care of GTAR.org or call us at 813-879-7010. 813-879-7010.
Welcome back to Tampa Home Talks. Thanks so much for joining us this Thursday afternoon. You can catch us here on Tan Talk every Thursday and Saturday at 5 p.m. Tampa Home Talk is across the web on Facebook, Twitter, and then all of our shows are available via a podcast. We're happy every week to bring you some fantastic guests that can help you live within the mission of our show, which is to help you keep and maintain great credit, live within your means, and build wealth. Among that, we do other stuff related to real estate and mortgage stuff and just really fun things that help our clients make their everyday life better. And so that's why we invited you guys in today, because I know myself personally have been in that position where, I've had offices. I told you I had an old Savin copier, and that thing sat in my garage for I don't even know how long. My husband would have been so happy to get rid of that sooner. And I think we ended up taking it to a business that was having a recycling day. And so what happened was they actually dropped off their used electronics, and I think you guys probably picked it up, but I just didn't know it at the time, and I didn't know you. So it's interesting because I'm sure everybody listening to Tampa Home Talk right now has some stuff in their garage that can be recycled that they probably just need to get rid of. And since it's spring, they're probably going to be doing a lot of that. And so it's interesting. I really loved how you guys broke everything down in the most simplest form, and some of that stuff is usable. Mm-hmm. I thought it was interesting that when you guys broke it down, you had your hard drive and your motherboard and all this stuff, and it was the video cards. Like, those things a lot of times are good. You can still reuse them.
Most parts what we're seeing is a lot of older computers. Most of the parts work. Even some of the newer stuff. One little component goes bad in a computer, it's going to shut down the rest of it.
Right.
And the memory might be bad.
And in this day and age of technology, people change their phones, their computers, at least every 2 to 3 years. For the most part.
And we see the cycles. We see the cycles of what's coming in.
Is that in your experience as well? Like, Dell, Greg, how long do you guys see stuff? Like, what are those cycles? Is it every 2-3 years?
3 years average.
3 years?
3 years, yeah. It's we're seeing, in terms of cell phones, there's a lot of BlackBerries coming in.
Yes.
Right before the whole smartphone, touchscreen craze exploded, BlackBerries were the
smartphone.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They were and everyone had it. They were perfect for businesses.
Right.
And all that. Now we're seeing them come in, by the hundreds. Also, the parts are, we work with a lot of computer guys. We work with a lot of artists. They can come in and they can go through and they can test. Instead of charging their customer, $150 for
some part they need, right?
They'll get it, a little bit better than scrap value, but it's a complete saving for them. We believe in creating the cycle. We don't want everything. It's like, if we can help somebody else make money on their business and they grow their business, and that filters down to the customer, then we've created a cycle, which recycling is.
And if you can reuse something or get somebody, I know there's a lot of people, and my mother-in-law, she's European, she's from France, and we really are a wasteful nation. We really are. When you see what other people do and just how they live, and it's completely different. So instead of, buying bottles of water by the caseload, they could just have maybe a big 5-gallon jug and refill it up.
Absolutely.
Little things like that I think we kind of take for granted. We don't look at, and just it goes by the wayside. So
the one positive thing, though, is even though we are such a wasteful nation in general, is we do care. We do care. We have great regulations. We have the rules. We have the laws. Where a lot of countries, the whole China is basically just an environmental nightmare that's just starting. The Green Wall is just being built there now. It's a figurative thing, but they're starting to actually get environmentally conscious.
Well, like you said, I think people here, they care, and if they knew where to recycle, they would.
That's a big point.
Let's talk about some of the things you take. Can you guys give me like a list of all the stuff you can think of? I know we mentioned BlackBerries. We mentioned old computers that don't work. We saw a change machine there earlier. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else I saw. Some medical equipment that was recycled.
Batteries, laptops. Batteries are a big issue. Unfortunately, we don't take alkaline batteries, the AA, the single A's, but just about every other type. The lead acid, especially the ones that come out of the battery backups. We talked about that when you were there. Everybody has those.
The power supplies
the
with the backup.
Right. And those are basically only as good as the battery in it. As soon as that battery goes, the battery is about the same cost as a new machine. That's why we see a lot of them. So we take those lead acid batteries. We take lithium ion, cell phone batteries, laptop batteries. Those are very recyclable. Dell's got the whole list. She's much better.
What else you got, Dell? What kind of things do people maybe throw in the trash that they could be recycling to you guys instead?
Well, I have a whole list: computer keyboards, telecom equipment, tower servers, rack servers, scrap computers, cell phones, laser printers, fax machines, servers, flat screen monitors. We take those. And circuit boards. Of course, you can't put everything on the list. I had a lady just the other day ask me if I took hearing aids. It's like,
really?
Okay.
You're like, maybe. Let's see what's inside of it. We might take it.
There's actually a lithium-ion battery that runs the hearing aids. So stuff like that. Also, one thing we talked about a little bit about printers.
Mm-hmm,
We definitely take printers. We take copiers. But we can also take in toner.
Toner. Wow.
A lot of times, people don't know what to do with the used cartridges. We recycle them. We have a good partnership with a couple places. We've done some recycling drives with a place like Rapid Refill out in Carrollwood. He handles the empty toner cartridges. A lot of times people get rid of their printer and they've pre-ordered in bulk new toners.
Right.
We can repurpose
like you said, the problem is some of that stuff it's so cheap to go buy another printer that by the time you pay somebody to come look at it and fix it and buy the parts or whatever, you could have already put that money towards another printer. And I think a lot of people do that.
They do. The nice thing is, though, we haven't bought a printer since we opened almost 2 years ago. When the toner goes out, oops, we recycle it, the whole printer, and I go to the printer bin and plug them in till I find one that's working.
Right.
And that's what keeps us going. So
that's so interesting. And so you're constantly expanding your list of stuff that you'll recycle, right? If there's a way you can intake it and figure out how to break it all down and get it where it needs to go.
The technology is creating new items.
Right.
You might start hearing a lot more about rare earth elements.
I'm not familiar with that. So what do you mean by rare earth elements?
The basics of metals. You have your copper, your aluminum, your steel.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. You have your gold, your silver, and all that. But the technology they've started to mine mostly overseas in Asia is where they have the abundance of it is. They're new elements that have great conductivity. Matter of fact, your hard drive, what drives the hard drive is a neodymium magnet. The magnet in there, which is extremely, extremely strong. And that's what's allowing hard drives to be basically 1 terabyte affordable.
Wow.
It's still considerably expensive, but because of the rare earth elements. What's in the LCD monitors?
So this is it's another precious metal they're finding that we're not familiar with. Is that what you're saying?
We're starting to find the process. We've known about it, but they've created the ability to mine it somewhat affordable.
That's interesting. I guess our Earth has a lot to explore still that we're not aware of.
Unfortunately, though, that's the thing about there's two sides to things. Should we mine for every pound or ton of rare earth metals that we dig? We're digging up millions and millions of square feet of dirt.
Gotcha.
Compared to the recycling end of it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. We need that for the future. It'll create less waste in the future, but what do we do for it now? So,
and the stuff in the landmines is crazy. I totally would love to see the government do more of a push to encourage people to recycle versus just dispose of, to throw away. And I think I talked about that to you when I did the tour. We were a family of 5, my husband, myself, and our 3 kids. And when we first made the effort, like a very conscious effort, I'm talking about we have different bins in our house that we recycle. And it was a very conscious effort, but we're throwing away a lot of stuff, like between glass, plastic, bottles, like paper, so much stuff. And, like, for example, the clubhouse where we live, they pay for all the youth programs from the paper that we recycle. And it's a ton of paper. Even though we're almost paperless, there's still so much paper, like in the junk mail and everywhere else.
The cardboard. Cardboard is a huge aspect of the recycling industry. There's the Tampa market is flooded with major companies. You've got some very good ones. So paper really should always be recycled separately.
It's just interesting, though, because like I said, from a family of 5, we would go from, 5-6 bags of trash a week down to maybe 1. Because
interesting.
Everything else is recyclable. And my kids know, and it took a long time even for our guests to understand what we do and why we have like 5 trash bins at our house. Even though they're labeled, we find ourselves picking up the trash and putting it there and moving the recycles around. But it's certainly something that we try to make a conscious effort and do our part in. So I'm really glad to have you guys as guests.
She's much, much better at it than me. She creates the mulch pile, and I get the look if I throw something in the garbage that should go out there.
That's right, Del. Kindred spirits. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. This is your host, Katrina Madewell. We have to take a very quick break, but we'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to us on Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few. Curious what your Tampa home is worth? Here's an easy way to find out what homes like yours are selling for in today's market. Text the word value to 813-377-2775 for a free report on Tampa house prices. We'll send you a free report with up-to-the-minute statistics based on all homes for sale sold in your neighborhood over the last 6 months in all price ranges. To get your free report on Tampa Bay house prices, just call or text the word value to 813-377-2775.
If you are a real estate agent and want to keep more of your hard-earned commission, call me today at 727-538-9200 extension 2. This call will change your real estate career.
Curious where your credit score is? Text the word credit to 813-377-2775. Not sure where it needs to be in order to buy? We'll tell you. Simply text the word credit to 813-377-2775 for access to your credit score now.
Hi, I'm Ike Antonio Thomas, Director of Salitas House, where we offer homeownership workshops, pre-purchase counseling, foreclosure intervention counseling for homeowners at risk of losing their home, financial coaching for adults and teens. Come sign up for our program where if you save $1,000, we'll give you $1,000. Call us 813-425-4847. Again, 813-425-4847. You can like us on Facebook or you can find us on the web, salitashouse.com.
Welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. Thanks so much for sticking around with us today. If you're in and out of the car and you're listening to us on the drive home, you can catch any part of today's show by going to the web at tampahometalk.com. We're also available via a podcast, and we're on Facebook and Twitter across the web. We have in studio today Greg and Delinda, or Del, with Urban E Recycling, and they do a lot of stuff with local businesses where they recycle a ton of stuff. And some of the stuff you guys had in your warehouse was pretty amazing. I mean, it was even old, like, what was that big thing? It was a computer or a phone?
It was a phone system.
Phone system,
it was
yeah.
An old phone system that probably ran 30 to 40,000 phone lines.
Wow.
At one point.
It's interesting because when you opened it up and we looked in there, it was pretty much all metal. And when you think,
Well, the circuitry was already taken out.
Gotcha.
Inside there was about 60 or 70 circuit cards. Mm-hmm. And that was pulled out. And they attached, if you saw, you had all the shelves and stuff like that. And then there's a plane on the back with that all, connected into. And it amazes me that somebody can think that up, that they know.
Yes.
And then if this card here goes here, this card goes there.
You guys just know how to dismantle it all.
Like I say, I learned a long time ago, I am not meant to create anything, just to take apart. And
Gotcha.
I'm great at taking apart, but I cannot put back together.
Well, everybody has to have their niche, right? Like some people would probably cry if you destroyed it. Like the people that built that would probably cry to see you dismantle it all. But it has to go somewhere, right? When it's at the end of its useful life, and that would be urban e-recycling.
On that note, it's funny. Sometimes we'll be taking out, 20, 30 computers from a business or somewhere, and we'll be pushing it on a cart to our truck to load up, and a couple of computers will fall off. And people in the parking lot coming in, they'll look at you like, oh my God, what'd you just do? And we're just like, we just call that a head start. But they don't know.
Going to the recycling center.
People really don't know in general that computers and all that is 100% recyclable.
I know I didn't before I got connected with you guys. I mean, I knew because I had some computers a while back, but I think I'm pretty well connected, so I talk to a lot of people. But for the average person, they probably don't know what to do with it. So love to get you guys connected with a computer shop that build my computers, and I'm sure you guys could do a lot of business together. Sure. But so talk about some of the things that you don't recycle. And I know you say you have places to connect people
Sure.
and where to send those things.
In terms of the electronics, what we don't take, unfortunately, the old CRT tube televisions and what most people are going to ask about are the CRT monitors.
So that's the old box type
Sure.
computer screens.
And the reason for that is when they made the CRT glass on those, they put so much lead in it. And on a normal television, on a 27-inch old tube television, in the screen, there's probably about 7 to 9 pounds of lead. Problem is the lead is grained, and you just can't melt down the glass and recover the lead. It has to go through a special process, which is extremely, extremely expensive. And if that stuff goes into the landfill, the glass gets crushed, and the lead will seep into the ground.
So talk about some of the long-term effects if that happens.
Into the watershed. The water. It will seep lead. I mean, they've made gas stations remove all their lead-lined tanks. If you go by, you don't see it happening much anymore because they've all been done. They've had the deadlines, but in the past 10, 15 years, when you go by your gas station, you would see these massive construction going on. They were removing 10,000-gallon tanks that were lead-lined.
Wow.
They're moving away from the X-ray shields. Anything with lead is being taken out. So
I think we've learned over time it's hazardous. It can be toxic to people, but also the environment.
Right. But the main problem is, and it's actually in our industry, we consider it more than a problem. We put it at a crisis level because of the tens of millions that are still out there. The problem is in the past, they could take them, recycle them, and make new CRT glass. They'd make new CRT monitors. We've moved on with the technology that we're now in an LCD monitor. Everyone wants the flat screen and all that.
Tiny, small, portable,
Sure.
lightweight.
And it's a completely different glass. It's a completely different process. And there's nothing that can be made out of that glass. So it's an expensive process for the recycler to get rid of it responsibly. There are
You have places where you can direct for people to actually drop those
Absolutely.
items off.
Businesses can't do it. There's other recyclers like ourselves that specialize in that, and you can call us and we'll direct you in that area. Residents in Hillsborough County, Hillsborough County is very, very proactive on it. There's 3 landfill sites in Hillsborough. The one on Linebaugh, the one on 579 in Seffner, and one in Ruskin. They accept them for no charge. They have a limited amount during the week, but on the weekend I think it's up to 5 if you are a resident of Hillsborough County. Pinellas County does have the similar thing. They have more of a drop-off. They have a electronics and chemical drop-off day throughout the month. Actually, we passed it on the way here.
Okay.
The signs were up on 60.
And then what about for Pasco? Do you know?
Pasco is not.
They're
working
breed of their
on
own up there, just kind of doing their own thing.
Exactly. They and we collect. We go into all these areas. We do Pasco. We do Hillsborough, obviously, and we do Pinellas. Pasco is a little bit behind the curve on that, but I know they are working towards that.
I think their website's stellar, but they got a ways to go with some of the other recycling type stuff. And you made up an interesting point, Del. Instead of having, these huge trash bins and small little recycling bins, it really should be the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Opposite.
It was just as a very interesting point. So you'll direct people where to send that stuff, and you have someone that also recycles like styrofoam. And so, do you collect any of that stuff, or just for businesses? Or
we will just. We have limited space,
right?
If I could probably be a little more organized, but it's limited space. We have we're moving into a larger warehouse in the same complex, but we only handle the materials that we deal in. But we will direct you. We have a very good relationship, and it's a fascinating process for styrofoam, and they've got They put it through a grinder and they mold it into bricks, and it's sold to be recycled. We have partnerships with companies that deal with the fluorescent bulbs. Light bulbs, especially in businesses, are very, very difficult to get rid of. They deal specifically in that. They handle that responsibly. There's people that handle the light bulbs from the residents' houses.
Now, I know you mentioned Earth Day coming up, and you guys are doing a recycling drive soon, right?
Yes.
Do you have any of the details on that, Dal? Do you know offhand, like how far away it is, or what the date is, or where people could try and think about gathering all their stuff and dropping it off?
Well, this is in Valrico.
Okay.
And it's a homeowners association that's doing that. I do not have the address in front of me.
It's actually
that might be a great thing to organize. Like, I would love to see a lot of our HOA presidents get involved and realtors being proactive and in their neighborhoods and organizing these drives. I will certainly do it in my neighborhood. And I would love to get you connected and, do that. So how much time do you think you need in advance to start a drive to be successful for you guys, for you to come pick up the stuff and make it worth your while? Because obviously you don't want to send a truck to pick up 1 or 2 computers.
Right. To market it properly, probably 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks.
That would make sense.
It's also, we've done them different ways. We've run them over the course of a month. We've run them for a week, and we've done it on one day. Basically, the build up to it is the most important.
Absolutely.
The information, our best success.
Well, that probably makes more sense, because I would imagine most people, not you guys, 'cause that's what you do, is you have it all over your warehouse. But most people, like if it's a business and they're collecting those items, or they're going to be a drop-off place, so that you guys can come pick it up from one location, they probably don't want a lot of that stuff just sitting around for weeks into months. Right. So if they could get it in maybe a day or two before, and just like you say, push for that one particular day to pick up all those items.
We're also on April 12th. There's the Learning Gate School, which is a charter school in Hillsborough County that specializes in just all environment.
Yes.
It's a green. It's a fascinating. It's an amazing place. They sponsor
Learning Gates and Lutz, so it's a great place for people that are near Hillsborough, Pasco, north end of the county, south end of Pasco. It's a good place for them to.
They run a special program once a year, and they used to hold it at their school. This year, they're actually holding it at Lowry Park, and we'll be participating in that also. And we're teaming up again with Rapid Refill, who we've done 3 other
for the toner cartridges. Okay.
They because they're dealing with a lot of people with printers and that, they make sure their customers have an outlet for that. And we'll be doing another drive with them.
So you guys will be at Lowry Park Zoo on the 12th of April?
Yes, more for an information basis.
Okay.
They're not allowing us to drop
not collecting stuff.
But we're going to be setting it up. We're looking to.
You're going to have a truck ready just in case?
The truck will be at the HOA in Bloomingdale.
Gotcha.
Off of
Holloway.
And something like this, we're looking to, for this drive, we still have to work out the details. We'll be doing that, and the proceeds from that, we'll be sending 1 or 2 kids to summer camp.
That's awesome.
Up at Camp Weewa up in Apopka.
I thought it was interesting that you guys have a mission and a purpose, and I know we do a lot of stuff with Salitas House, our nonprofit that specializes in foreclosure counseling, intervention, and homeowner education so that people can be set up for success. It's really important to us, and it's part of the mission of our show and who we are as a company. So you guys also partner a lot of times with nonprofits, right, to do pushes for these and then donate a portion back for different causes,
Sure.
correct? So what are some of the things that you guys have done? Like, who have you partnered up with to do these pushes and the drives? And then just talk about some of the stories that some of the people you've helped.
Meals on Wheels is one of our organizations that we did a drive with.
Hark. One of our first ones was Hark, they've changed their name on that. We did we did a veterans. It's not Wounded Warriors, but it was a veterans organization. Mm-hmm. That was our latest one. We did one for an animal. What we do, we go. They promote it. They promote it
and be a drop off site, I would imagine, and you guys pick up.
Depends how it's set up. How it's set up. If it's a one day event, we'll come out to them. If not, they'll be the drop off, or we give them some of on a business or so. We'll go out and pick up.
And what a great way for people like business owners to reach out to their clients,
mm-hmm.
and make a contact with their past client and just say, hey, by the way, if you have any, electronics that you want to recycle, we would love to take them.
Sure.
And just do that whole drive. And you donate a portion back for nonprofit and just helping people, which I think is awesome.
We enjoy that. It's we like the aspect of that. We've done businesses in the past. We've worked. It's at this stage in our life, we're just thrilled to be building what we're building. And
absolutely.
We're having fun doing it, too.
You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Very excited to have Urban E-Recycling in studio today. We have to take our last quick break of the show, but we will be back in just a minute, and we're going to go over some fascinating things, and I think you guys have inspired us to do a drive ourselves. So we'll be back in just a minute. About an inside secret to save several hundreds of dollars on your annual homeowner's insurance premium. Text the word WIND, W-I-N-D, to 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775.
I'm John Rakowski, the broker with Charles Ruttenberg Realty. If you are a real estate agent and want to keep more of your hard-earned commission, call me today at 727-538-9200 extension 2. This call will change your real estate career.
Hi, I'm Ike Antonio Thomas, Director of Salitas House, where we offer homeownership workshops, pre-purchase counseling, foreclosure intervention counseling for homeowners at risk of losing their home, financial coaching for adults and teens. Come sign up for our program where if you save $1,000, we'll give you $1,000. Call us 813-425-4847. Again, 813-425-4847. You can like us on Facebook or you can find us on the web, salitashouse.com.
My name's Carol Austin, representing the Realtors Care Foundation, DTAR. I'm the CEO there, and the foundation is existing to help with down payment assistance, and we gift up to $5,000 for the first-time home buyers to purchase a home in Hillsborough County. So please visit us at the Realtors Care of GTAR.org or call us at 813-879-7010. 813-879-7010.
Welcome back to Tampa Home Talk this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Tan Talk Radio Network with Real Estate Radio Network. We are here every Thursday and Saturday at 5 p.m. You can find us on 1340, 1350, and 1400. So we're very excited today to have in studio Urban E-Recycling. They recycle a number of electronics for not only your household, but they do a lot of stuff with businesses. They do a lot of big pushes to do like a recycling drive. And I know there's a lot of people listening that have stuff in their garage. Probably their parents have stuff in their garage that just kind of went there. They don't know what to do with it. And Urban E-Recycling is a great place to drop it off or organize a recycling drive. So, Del, can you just go through that list again one more time? Because I know people are driving and they're in and out of the car and they may have missed some of the things that you guys take.
Okay, this is just a partial list, but computer keyboards, telecom equipment, tower servers, rack servers, scrap computers, cell phones, network switches, laptops, laser printers, fax machines, computer cables, flat screen monitors, UPS battery backups, and circuit boards.
So a lot of these regular business components and old machines that don't work, I noticed you guys take a lot of the times. Old stereos,
VCRs.
So the 8 tracks and that kind of stuff, you guys are all about it, right?
Yeah, you saw some of the older stuff we had there. Thankfully we're not hoarders. Whether it be we would have trouble getting rid of anything.
I think we saw an old Apple computer from one of the original ones.
Exactly. It was back in the early 80s. You saw the Wang computers that we dated at about 77, 78.
Yes. And there was one that was a desk that was all bolted together, and the computer was part of the desk, and the printer was all mounted in one.
It was a 380, and there was a 386 computer on that.
That thing was probably the thing to have back in its day.
Imagine what it cost.
Think about it. It was probably rolled from office to office.
Yes.
Everybody got their turn.
One computer, or they probably had it one central location. You probably had to go to it. Was more than likely the case. So, talk about, because you guys recycle and once you break it all down into the small components and you send it back out, you guys send literally tons of stuff. So, talk about how much stuff you dispose of properly on a monthly basis.
We've been doing, in terms of the electronics, in terms of the boards and components of the computers, we're averaging upwards of 80,000 pounds a month of just that, with another 20 to 40,000 pounds of the plastic, the steel, the aluminum, offshoots of the computer and the electronics. And we're a small company, and there's dozens in a 100-mile radius, much bigger than us, that are doing 10 times the volume. There's just so much stuff. It's
astounding. That is so much stuff to move. And, I would much rather see it run through an organization like yours than to see it end up in a landfill.
Absolutely.
And it's just, so be responsible, guys. We're going to encourage you to get with Urban E-Recycling. You guys are in Tampa. You're right off I-4,
I-4,
right?
56 in Hillsborough, just about a mile west of the casino.
Yeah, so
pick up.
The next time you're going to go to the casino, you could just shoot on by and drop your stuff off.
Exactly.
That would be a great place, actually, to get together and arrange a drop-off there.
You could leave your computer with us, and if you don't win, you can come back and
sold the GM a house. I'll have to connect with him and see if we can make that happen. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk, and this is your host, Katrina Madewell. If you missed any part of today's show with Urban E-Recycling, I'm going to encourage you to check it out on the web, on Facebook, Twitter, on our website, Tampa Home Talk. We're all at tampahometalk.com, and all of our shows are available via a podcast for listening later. So who are some of your big partners? Do you have a lot of businesses that connect with you guys regularly or do that whole life cycle with you every 3 years? Where they just recycle their old computer stuff or do
it's
arrange?
Surprising how many times that they call us, the large businesses, every quarter sometimes, or every 6 months.
Well, they probably have waves, like most places. They have a budget and they have certain machines and things that they buy during certain times. And so you probably got the stuff from the life cycle 3 months ago, but you're hearing from them every 3 to 4 months.
We love the small to medium-sized businesses also. They're the ones that, they need the outlet. They're replacing their stuff. Their stuff is so intact. They've got closets full of them.
Right.
They seem to be so environmentally friendly. Just from our experience, that they've got rooms that they haven't been able to use for a year because they've piled it all up and don't want to landfill it.
Wow. So if you're that type of business right now and you want to do the responsible thing and recycle all those electronics, we certainly encourage you to check us out at tampahometalk.com. We're going to post Urban E-Recycling's announcement card there so that you can get a hold with them and they can arrange a drop-off and pick up for your business. A couple of quick announcements. I just want to let those of you that have been loyal followers of the show listening, the band that does our opening music that you hear at the beginning of the show and the end of the show, and as we break for segments, Sunshine and Bullets, they are actually going to be releasing a new album next week, and we're going to have them in the studio one day, likely on Thursday, I think, of next week. So you'll definitely want to check them out and be part of their release party, which is going to happen next Friday, the 5th of April. Thank you so much for joining us here today for Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell with Charles Ruttenberg Realty through Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be here again Saturday at 5 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us. We are out.
'Cause it's a long, long way from home. There's no reason to belong. How we end up here at all. And I think it's time to
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills,